Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and today we'll be talking about Skypark for Microsoft Flight Simulator by Parallel 42. Marketed as a revolutionary platform, Parallel 42 brings the Skypark to Microsoft Flight Simulator with a simple concept in mind: less planning and more flying. Called a living platform by the developer, the add-on includes jobs, tours, and adventures all aimed at one goal: making money and growing yourself as a virtual pilot in the simulated world. Moving on to the installation. As with any product available via the Orbex Direct, it's seamless and easy, while I faced no issues at all. It brings you through a series of menus and questions, such as asking the user whether they would like to participate in illicit activities. Once you go through that first process, you're greeted into Skypark. I can't see many people having any issues with the installation of this product, which is definitely a huge plus, as there are some add-ons within the community that aren't always the easiest to get set up and running. Modelled after an iPad, the user interface, or UI, is extremely simple and easy to use, and required no additional research to understand something. Everything is laid out really nice and clear, and I can't see there being any issues with someone trying to find something or getting confused because a certain feature is incredibly hard to find. The simplistic and easy to use UI is definitely a huge plus for Skypark, especially against similar add-ons like FS Economy, which can sometimes be a little bit hard to navigate due to its rather outdated UI. The learning curve is also incredibly easy, especially due to the tutorial. You are guided through the add-on and its various features, outlining the various apps included, such as Contracts, Conduit, YoFlight, Holdings, and more. Along with its easy to use UI and pretty in-depth tutorial, I understood how to use it right away. Although it did take me a couple of uses to instantly know which app to click for a specific need, it never pushed me away from the experience. Accepting a contract is incredibly easy. All you need to do is go to the Contracts app and you are met with a plethora of different options to choose from, along with a filter option which allows you to select the type of aircraft, such as small jets, helicopters, piston aircraft, and more. You can even choose which companies you want to see and what types of jobs: tours, cargoes, bush trips, ferries, etc. Another extremely helpful feature for those of us that are a little bit on the lazy side to shoot an approach on our own, you can even filter it to only give you jobs at airports which utilize an ILS system. You can also apply the filter that requires runway lighting, which is, for obvious reasons, extremely helpful for those nighttime excursions. Advanced filters are also available, which allows you to select runway length, type of runway, hard, soft or grass, number of legs, and more. Moving on, once a contract is accepted and started, it brings you to the YoFlight app, which gives you various information of your contract, such as your altitude, vertical speeds, heading, and more. A really nice feature was that it automatically brings you to the app once you press fly, instead of having to then navigate to that side manually. The other apps are incredibly easy to use as well. For example, Holdings showcase your previous flights and how much money you've made from them. Having all that information in a single app is incredibly helpful. The Process app also shows your balance along with 3 distinct features. The first is your level and XP. This measures your experience as a pilot, and the higher it is, the more interesting contracts you'll receive. Of course, the way to increase your XP is to simply fly more. Karma is also a very interesting addition. As stated prior, you are met with the option to participate in illicit activities in the installation. If you do decide to do this and work with the Coyote group who offers these activities, we'll move your karma down. While being on the legal side of things and working for Clear Sky will bring your karma up again. Lastly, reliability shows how reliable you are as a pilot. The more contracts that you accept and go through, the higher it will be. While if you accept contracts and cancel, your reliability will actually go down. Reliability is confidential though. You need to fly into KMKC and talk to Bridget to see your actual scores. Higher scores will equate to better pay and more perks in the future, which is a pretty nice little feature. Conduit also shows all of your completed and failed contracts in an incredibly easy to understand menu. It also allows you to cancel contracts that you have already started, which makes it incredibly easy to do so. The settings page is also in-depth and easy to use. It offers various features such as showcasing software updates, selecting light or dark themes, forcing the Skypark to always be on top or off, and many other features. Lastly, the roleplay app is provided. This provides a link to Discord, specifically made to enact roleplay into Skypark, which could allow for fresh and immersive experience. Connection to the sim is absolutely seamless and super easy, which is a must for a product such as this. The only thing that needs to be running is the transponder and Skypark, and of course the simulator, Microsoft Flight Sim. Once open and the contract started, all that needs to be done is spawn into the departure airport and it should automatically connect you, allowing you to start the flight and get on your way. With my time using Skypark, I've never had an issue connecting at all, and it has worked so incredibly well every single time. It's definitely a huge positive for Parallel 42 and their add-on for having such a seamless connection experience. Moving on to the experience of Skypark itself. The ultimate question is whether it's fun and enjoyable to use. For an add-on such as this, the question varies and can be extremely subjective, as it does actually depend on the aircraft you're flying, actually enjoying Microsoft Flight Simulator, and more. Nevertheless, focusing on the Skypark itself, the add-on definitely provides some really memorable and interesting routes along the contract ideas to make the simulator feel just more alive. It makes you feel like you're actually doing something rather than just flying from point A to point B with no actual goal in mind. Furthering the enjoyment of the add-on is the inclusion of monthly tours. For the month of April, a Greek tour was provided with 35 unique destinations. It's definitely a good way to really spice up the simulator of flying. Currently, the actual only way to fly the tour is to go through the Contracts app and search VETA. Although this isn't a hard thing to do, I would like to see an app specifically for tours, which allows you to navigate and compare multiple tours to choose one to your liking. Of course, to do this, more tours would need to be added, which I definitely think would be a benefit to the add-on. I really like how the development team is constantly making and adding new experiences to the Skypark. For example, I've always been interested in bush flying, especially after watching certain YouTubers and shows. The only issue is, since those places are typically remote, I may have a hard time finding routes to fly. With the Skypark, some of these issues gets resolved, as they've included a flight in Papua New Guinea, a country which features extremely rugged terrain and dense forests. The Skypark offers a great platform for bush flights such as that, especially in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'd like to see many more added around the world. At the moment, using the Skypark can be fun, but it's extremely limited due to the lack of proper heavy simulated aircraft within Microsoft Flight Simulator. Although this isn't Skypark's fault, I had moments where I wasn't interested due to the current aircraft selection within the simulator. As more aircraft come and larger routes can be filled, such as various long hauls which the Skypark provides, I can definitely see the add-on becoming much more fun and enjoyable. If you enjoy the default aircraft within the simulator, then it's an incredibly enjoyable experience. Shoving away Microsoft Flight Simulator's shortcomings with the default aircraft, however, the Skypark definitely has a bright future, and as an add-on by itself, is definitely a fun experience. Now, whether the add-on actually dragged me back to Microsoft Flight Simulator is an interesting question. As stated above, the lack of high quality aircraft within the simulator had me wishing that the add-on was available for more than just Microsoft Flight Simulator, as I wish I could pick it for my SR22 and do some flights in X-Plane. However, I couldn't. Nevertheless, in its current early access state, there are some major features missing which, if included, would definitely be a driving force towards users wanting to use the product regularly. The biggest issue at the moment for replayability is the lack of things to spend your money on. Although it was confirmed to be coming in the future, at the moment there's absolutely nothing to purchase via in-game currency, which can sometimes make flying feel a bit redundant as there's no use for the financial reward after a contract is actually completed. We also have no idea what is being planned towards financial use. All we know is that aircraft will always be free and a purchase of an aircraft will never be required. That gets us thinking though, what would be sold in the store? If aircraft are never to be purchasable, are things going to be cosmetic only? If so, it wouldn't be a rewarding thing to spend your money on. This is all speculation however, and we can't be certain as to what will be included. Even though the aircraft aren't planned to be purchasable, with the introduction of game modes, I think an ultra-realistic game mode where purchased aircraft are available would be feasible. Another big thing that should be included are penalties. During one of my contracts, I was able to nosedive and completely overspeed with absolutely zero penalty, and the full reward of the contract was still given. Since in real life my aircraft would have probably broken apart, I'd like to see a maintenance system where utilising the aircraft in a way that isn't intended would cause a bit of a penalty for the player. For example, running the engine at too high of an RPM for extended periods of time would cause slow degradation of the power plant. I'd like to see stuff such as that within the add-on, where maintenance would be needed for the engine. It could go deeper than just the engine though. I'd like to see a penalty for overspeeding, extending the flaps or gear too early, and more. Although this could be hard to implement as it changes depending on the aircraft flown, I'd still think something such as this could be entirely possible within the Skypark. With all the various features such as unique jobs, the various apps which allow for easy use, the negatives such as nothing to spend your money on, I'd say that the Skypark didn't always draw me back to it. But that isn't necessarily the fault of the add-on. I'd like for more in-depth experience where I can build my own airline and FBO, which made me wonder why not just use FS Economy, which is a free alternative. However, I can see many people preferring the Skypark due to its simplicity and easy to use to get started. So if I ever feel like flying a quick flight or I'm unsure where to fly, the Skypark definitely brings me back to it. Although I never felt fully immersed into the virtual world that the add-on offers, and whenever I completed a job, I never felt fully accomplished due to the lack of penalties and monetary value. So at the moment, it brings me back in some aspects and others make me want to stay away. It really depends on the experience that you're looking for within a virtual world and economy. Overall, the experience of the Skypark is enjoyable, though not perfect. At the most, the Skypark is a fun, relaxing virtual world with a lot to explore. However, with some key features missing, the experience is sometimes degraded. In its current state, I can't fully applaud the experience of the add-on. However, as time continues and more features are added, I can only see it getting better. Marketed as a revolutionary platform for the enjoyment of flight simulation built on a simple concept: less planning, more flying. It combines characters, contract jobs, tours and adventures for pilots to use their custom aircraft and scenery collection to reignite their passion for flight. For the most part, Parallel 42 has delivered on their marketing promise for the add-on, although calling it a revolutionary platform is questionable, mainly since the virtual economies in the flight sim have existed for ages before the introduction of this add-on. Besides that though, everything else has been acted upon, with jobs, tours, characters and more. I didn't notice anything from using the add-on which Parallel 42 lied about. Of course, they hadn't mentioned the lack of purchasable items and other drawbacks of its current state, which is to be expected. Moving to the price of the product. Parallel priced the add-on at 42 Australian dollars, which is pretty steep for its current state. At the moment, I would recommend something such as FS Economy over the Skypark, mainly since it's free and offers similar features to the add-on, if not more. As the Skypark progresses through and gets rid of its drawbacks, such as lack of penalties, financial incentives, routine issues, such as being given jobs to closed airports, no sim brief connection, only way to upload a flight plan is using a .pln file, and more. It's hard to recommend the Skypark in its current state. If you'd like to support the devs and the development of the add-on, I'd say go for it. However, if you like a complete and finished experience within a virtual world, I would wait until the add-on gets out of early access. The Skypark offers a plethora of features to bring its simulated world to life, with the interesting addition to immersive contracts, the ability to take your flying wherever and however, all brings this add-on to life. The strong points are definitely its simplicity. The UI is incredibly easy to learn and use, and I can't see anyone struggling to understand how to use it. The addition of immersive contracts are absolutely fantastic as well, such as being given jobs to transport COVID vaccines, being given the option to participate in illicit activities within the Coyote, and more. The tours are also a huge bonus and allow you to spend hours within the simulator flying to destinations that you would never even thought of prior using the add-on itself. Along with unique contracts, the addition of other game-esque features such as XP levels and reliability are also a welcome addition. It's also great how those aren't just a number and actually affect how the game is played, with a certain contract only being available at higher XP levels and more. Karma is also a great feature. It allows you to choose how you want to play the game, whether you want to indulge into your troublemaking sides or stay clean and keep your karma up. The add-on really allows you to shape yourself as a pilot within the simulated world. With all these positives also comes a plethora of drawbacks, however, especially towards the routing system. While the routing system includes a multitude of features, with an in-depth filtering system, it sometimes falls apart. I was once looking for a contract and noticed an interesting route. I went and accepted it, and I put the airport into SimBrief only to realize the airport is permanently closed, which forced me to cancel the contract, which most likely lowered my reliability. Moments such as that can take away from the experience of the add-on, and I'd like to see that fixed. As was stated above as well, penalties need to be introduced. Completing contracts don't feel as rewarding when I know I can abuse my aircraft with absolutely no penalty. I'd like to see penalties for overspeeding, overstressing the aircraft, or anything else that could damage it. Also, I didn't see any point in accepting contracts which were longer or entailed more money, as there's nothing to spend your earnings on. A lot of the time flying felt redundant. A big marketing point for the add-on is being able to use whatever aircraft you want. While for some this could be a huge positive, many could also see this as a deal breaker, as a lot of people enjoy purchasing aircraft and building up their FBO, similar to other virtual economic add-ons. With the Skypark only being available for Microsoft Flight Simulator, many people could look at that and instantly be turned away. Although I understand the developer's decision in making an add-on such as this exclusively for Asobo's creation, I did miss flying in X-Plane and was left wishing I could be flying somewhere of my payware aircraft for those contracts. So, in conclusion, with all the positives and negatives of the Skypark, in its current state it's hard to recommend. As time goes on and the add-on leaves its early access stage, depending on the features available, I could see a strong user base forming. Although that all depends on what's added. At the moment, I would like to see items to purchase, penalties, and more realistic features. With the recent introduction of game modes, penalties could definitely be added in a third game mode, where full realism is taken into account. So, for those who enjoy flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator and aren't looking for the most in-depth and realistic virtual world, the Skypark is a great choice. However, for those who are looking to simulate real life and want to create their own airline with fuel costs, purchasable aircraft and more, FS Economy or On Air are the better choices. However, all that is subject to change as the Skypark is still in early access.
Hey everyone, it's Soul. Thanks so much for watching. Just because we forgot to say it in the video, just wanted to say if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. Thanks so much.